Chapter 2. The Man Who Saves America. She sighed, sitting up in her chair, and continued, "Last year, Jacobs told me about the dangers America faces and how it narrowly escaped the fate of being conquered by a foreign power in about 30 years. Edward's eyes widened. America being conquered by a foreign power? That's quixotic talk. America has the largest economy and the most sophisticated military force, far more powerful than the next military power." Varshi said, "That's true. However, the foreign power doesn't intend to conquer America through military means. A few years ago, the FBI received an anonymous letter from a clandestine organization. The letter exposed a top-secret blueprint crafted by Strong Nation, detailing a unit known as the Department of Unifying Warfront. Remarkably, this department had been operational since the inception of their governing party, even when the country was very poor. Their ultimate goal is to unify the entire whole world. In other words, they wish to conquer the planet and rule it under a single ruler. The department even has a slogan adopted from a popular novel. One prime to rule them all, one prime to find them, one prime to bind them all, and in the darkness guide them. In the vast ocean where the beacon shines." Edward said, amazed to learn that they have such an ambitious goal. Varshi continued, "While everyone was celebrating free trade and globalization, the leaders of Strong Nation poured all their malice into a strategy that would dominate all nations. It would conquer America in the time frame of about 20 to 30 years. Once America falls, the whole world falls. One man would rule the whole planet with extreme suppressive policies, and everything was progressing according to their plan, nearing success." Initially, the FBI dismissed the letter's claims outright. Many high-ranking officials asserted there was no evidence of large-scale infiltration in America and advocated ignoring its contents. However, a minority argued that if the letter's allegations were true, the consequences for the country could be dire, and it would be too late to save America if they waited until all evidence was found. They urged a thorough investigations of the letter's claims. The letter specifically identified a senior official in a utility company and several others in government departments, alleging they were compromised by Strong Nation as they received tremendous amount of money from it. After meticulous covert investigations, the startling truth emerged: the letter's assertions were accurate. Further investigations by the FBI uncovered additional alarming details. Strong Nation had established clandestine police stations within the country to surveil students, immigrants, and some operate covertly from consulates, effectively transforming them into espionage centers. The letter also warned of numerous organizations receiving funds from Strong Nation, hinting that those exposed were merely the tip of an ice mountain. In summary, what began as skepticism within the FBI gave way to shocking hints of infiltration and covert operations by Strong Nation within the United States. Edward exclaimed, "That is inconceivable. America is so strong and advanced that there's no parallel in the world." Varshi sighed deeply. "You are among many who are deceived by this illusion." She reclined in her chair, contracting her brow. "Their strategy to conquer America is shockingly simple. They would conquer America through our huge trade deficit. Initially, they invest a relatively small sum in lobbyists to advocate the benefits of free trade and globalization, arguing that trade fosters democracy and dismantles authoritarian regimes. It's a compelling narrative that everyone buys into. This policy enables them to generate an annual trade surplus of $500 billion directly or indirectly with the U.S., after subtracting our service surplus and our corporations' earnings overseas. Many Americans cheer this, thinking they're getting $500 billion worth of goods for free each year. What Americans don't realize are the devastating consequences it holds for our future generations. Strong Nation cycles a substantial portion, say $300 billion of that $500 billion, back into America to infiltrate and corrupt it. The corrupted renowned economists and financial institutions would tell you how free trade benefits everyone and keeps inflation low, while any tariffs hurt consumers and drive up inflation. No president dares to impose significant tariffs on their goods due to fierce resistance from these infiltrated lobbyists. By maintaining this infiltration grip on the lobbying front, they ensure the substantial trade surplus persists over many years. The huge remainder of the money is used to corrupt influential elites and organizations. Even a former Secretary of State has established a consulting firm, making a fortune by connecting their agents with elites in our country. To put this into perspective, if the $300 billion is used to corrupt 1 million influential American elites, each could receive $300 million. This money then permeates throughout society. With approximately 100 million families in this developed country, each family unknowingly receives an average of $3,000 allowance annually from a developing country. That's why the Harvard president would tell you maintaining scholar exchange with strong nation is crucial for academic collaboration, or elite investors would tell you that disengagement with strong nation is stupid. Whenever journalists ask a presidential candidate about the threat posed by strong nation, the response is often dismissive and brusque. Come on. Give me a break. In 20 years, the accumulated infiltration funds could total $6 trillion, capable of melting the will of many steel-mined politicians. Every vital American institution, whether scientific, engineering, or political, would be corrupted and swayed to their narratives. If they demand a scene be removed from an American movie, no one dares to preserve it. If they declare a virus originates from nature, no one dares to contest its laboratory origins. The entire nation dances to their tune. Of course, workers in strong nation suffer heavily. While many American workers were lying idle, and many Americans enjoy the free goods without working. Strong nation workers have to work 12 hours a day, 8 hours to produce goods for their own country, and 4 hours to produce the free goods for America. Propaganda within their borders portrays America as evil and exploiting poorer nations, forcing them into low-wage labor for goods. Varshi paused, then continued solemnly, when the time is right and enough elites have been corrupted, they would spend billions to clandestinely install a compromised individual as President of the United States, a puppet of their making. They will implement an open border policy, allowing millions of migrants into the country annually, which will grow to 50 million by that time. Then they will legalize the status of illegal migrants. With the support of these newly legalized voters, they aim to install their own man as the U.S. president. Edward countered, regardless, our president is always democratically elected, and our democratic system remains intact. Don't forget that Hitler and Mussolini were also democratically elected, as was the president of Venezuela. Varshi chuckled. Utilizing the huge trade surplus money, they have corrupted many congressmen. It wasn't hard for them to transform a democratic system into an authoritarian one. Once America falls, the whole world falls. One nation rules all. Edward began to feel uneasy and recognized the looming danger. Varshi continued, there would be a few who are awake like those awakened by the letter, but they feel powerless. They stand helpless against the onslaught of $300 billion in infiltration funds pouring in each year. They are filled with sadness and despair, believing America is destined to be conquered by oppression. But God is merciful. At the darkest moment, when all hope had faded, God sent a man to save this country and the world. The man appeared like a bright shooting star streaking across the sky, illuminating the earth covered in utter darkness. He awakened those who now see the imminent danger around them. Edward frowned. Is the man our current president? Varshi shook her head. No, he is not even an American. Edward's eyes widened. A non-American saving America? Varshi nodded with a sigh. The world is full of quixotic dramas. When God wants to destroy you, he first makes you insane. When God wants to save you from your enemy, he first makes your enemy insane.